leader or the, what do you call it, the executive of the company, he started we all felt like he was showing favoritism towards one of the guys in the group and, wanted him to go solo and all these different things. And I've always been faced with the question of, am I good enough? Why am I being overlooked, or why don't people pay me any attention? Like, I just always had that in the back of my mind. And when he would do things like that, like, show the favoritism towards this one guy, it just, it's so much that happened behind closed doors. It ruined my confidence after the group. And it almost was like they were setting me up to fail, to not be anything, because they would say things like, oh, he thinks he knows everything, or da. And I was just a kid, mind you, just trying to learn the business. So I would ask a lot of questions. I would do things that I felt like our group needed to be doing. This is when social media really began to be popular. I would try to, do things on the social media side just to keep up with everybody else that, that's in the business. And they didn't like that about me. They ended up actually kicking me out of the group. And right then and there, I mean, it broke my heart, because this is all I knew. I had been singing with these guys for all these years. The leader, he just always seemed to use me as the example of, if you do this, this is what can happen to you. That's how I felt. And I just didn't know where to go after that.
Yeah, it's, sometimes you have to go your own way. Sometimes you grow a little bit as well. I mean, it's, it is kind of hard when that kind of thing happens, but it's great to be able to see kind of where you kind of were disillusioned for a little while, but just you came back on track and finally decided to do this. And obviously it's been a quick, quick rise for you from performing on the streets to actually putting out some music. So, I mean, it's great to be able to see that, and that you have that confidence now behind you in terms of it. I mean, it's great to be able to hear that as well. What was it like for you to be in the studio? I mean, obviously with the gospel group, I'm assuming that you've been in the studio before, but what was it like to kind of do a studio for the, working on this album and kind of, did you learn a lot in terms of going in there?
Yeah, absolutely. And just for the record, so the people out there listening, they know, I actually started, I formed my studio right after I left that group. And I didn't have much, but I've always recorded my own music. I've always produced everything. So I never really had to go outside to anyone to record or make music. I've always had my own setup. But I just recently, like I said, I purchased the building and I have the studio of my dreams now. But being in the studio, my thing is I like to have fun. It's okay to be serious and super focused, but when people come into my environment, I call it like 1 hour of fun. Like, that's how the session starts. So we're going to laugh. I'm going to crack jokes. I'm going to make you laugh, no doubt about it. And we're going to get all of that funny energy out. And then after that, we make some of the best music that, we've ever made. But it's very fun and creative, super fun.
Well, what's it like, working with other artists and having the ability, I mean, obviously with the new studio, just the ability to just work with these artists and kind of get their creative sides out and kind of being behind the panel and working with engineers and, really kind of experimenting with other artists. And obviously you learn a lot from that as well, right?
Oh, 100%. I love working with artists because when they come to me, and this is something that I've always, I didn't necessarily work towards it, but I've always imagined, people coming to me for advice or just to learn from me. And a lot of artists come to me, they have no plan at all. They say, I want you to do everything from top to bottom. I want to come into your world. You lead the way. And that's a huge responsibility. Yeah, I love working with other artists like Zaire Dene, who's featured on the song. She was one of the first artists that I started working with outside of my own music. And, we just learned so much from each other, not even just music-wise, but just life and personality. It's an amazing thing.
Yeah, it's great to be able to have, like I said, new talented artists and kind of people to kind of bounce ideas off of. And like I said, just learn from them and see what works for them as well. So it's great to be able to see that as well. I was going to ask about, just coming into this album and starting to do tracks as well. I mean, was a lot of the songs kind of what was some of the writing process and the process of kind of selecting songs? What was that all about? Were some of the songs stuff that you may have had back in your back pocket for a while, or some of them new songs, or kind of tell me a little bit about that process?
Yeah, so I had a lot of stuff recorded, and mind you, I want to say prior to June of this year is when I actually got connected with my new management. I had some stuff that I had done, but we just basically cleaned the slate, and we said we're going to start from scratch, and we're going to build this thing up the right way. We're going to make the best music. We're going to have the best brand and everything. So when I got with my team is when I really started being inspired just by them, because I got Walt and I got Darrell. Darrell is a musician. Walt is a musician. So these are like veterans in the music business. They've worked with everybody. Like, I'm not even going to name drop, but they work with everybody in the business. So they teach me so much, and it makes me want to be better. So when I come in the studio, I have them in mind, and I want to impress them first. But as far as the writing process, I tell this to everybody, I really don't know where it comes from. Honestly, I get in the studio and I meditate before the session. I just allow the song to write itself. The words, they come from another place. I don't even know. But once I hear the music, I allow it to flow through me, and the music tells me what this song should be about and what the words should be. So it's a real supernatural experience.
So it's pretty I'll say quick, but just being able to hear a melody or hear a song and then start kind of figuring out lyrics. I mean, that's something that comes to you kind of naturally, I would say, right?
Absolutely. Melody is, trust me, it hasn't always been up to par like it is now. I struggled in that area, but once I got out of the way of the music and stopped trying to make what's on the radio or what other people are doing, once I got out of that frame of mind, then that's when I started making the best music that I've ever made.
Do you play any instruments at all?
I don't play any instruments. I dabble with piano and drums, but I am by no means a professional. Vocals is what God blessed me with. He didn't give me the other talents.
Well, sometimes I'm so clumsy. I cannot play an instrument for my life, but I can sing a little bit. So yeah, I understand that. Just talking a little bit about, right now, you said back in the past you had really looked towards social media, and that has become a huge part of what it's like being a musician, to be able to connect with fans, to be able to talk to them and see how they felt about a certain concert or a certain song or whatever. Tell me a little bit about how it is to interact with some of the fans and get some of their feedback and just really kind of interact with them, because it's important. And I'm not just talking about the local Detroit fans either. I'm talking about internationally. You probably have a lot of people that's listening to your music, not only in Detroit, but across the nation, or maybe even across different countries.
Well, I would say this. I want to say about a month or two ago is when my career really shot up. And I have to, when I speak about this, I have to be real. I can't give you some fabricated story. I have to be super authentic, because this has been my dream since I was a child, like literally in diapers. So for all of this to be coming true nowadays, it's blowing my mind, honestly. When people actually interact with me based off of the music that I put out or the content that I put out, it's like super surreal. Like I can't even believe that I'm living this life. But it really does feel good. It feels really good to know that people appreciate me and the things that I do, and that I'm an inspiration to them. Because a lot of people out here, they have gifts and talents, but they don't know where to start. So sometimes seeing somebody that comes from the same place or looks just like you do things and actually make moves is inspiring, and people hit me up all the time about that. And that's the part that I'm most grateful for.
Yeah, it's great. Like you said, especially these times, it would be nice, hopefully soon that we start opening up clubs again, and being able to, have those possibilities of you performing live again, and some of these other artists as well, because I know they're struggling, and hopefully that'll come hopefully sooner rather than later. And like I said, out here there are so many clubs out here that cater to so much different music. So hopefully that ends up happening again. So hopefully he could be able to come out here to perform a little bit. So we'll have
You know
to
what's
see.
funny? I'm actually coming out to Las Vegas on the 20th. You just told me that it's getting cold, so this is kind of like a shocker because I was planning on going out there to street perform, to busk. But that's my plan. I'll be out there on the 20th.
Well, awesome. I may have to catch you as well. I mean, Fremont Street's usually where a lot of the street performers are. So I'll give you that tip. The strip is good, but I think people are starting to really start to gravitate towards Fremont now. So hopefully you get that opportunity. But yeah, definitely let me know when you head out here, and definitely I'll try to check you out while you're here.
Sweet. I love it. Now,
I want to mention the album's out right now. The song Runaway is out right now as well. Where can people find you on social media?
Yes, on all social media, you can find me at Hollis Jordan, HOLLIS JORDAN, on all social media.
Yep, awesome. And anything else coming up for you?
Yeah, I got some pretty exciting things. I got some new music videos getting ready to drop. I want to give a shout out to Detroit, Cruise Control Detroit, the band that I'm currently featured with on some records. So we have a lot of stuff with them coming out. And then I've heard that there's a talk of a COVID regulated tour coming next year. So be on the lookout for that. I might be in your city soon.
Well, definitely. And like I said, when you get out here, just let me know, and we'll be hook up for a little bit. And I definitely want to take a look and hear some of your singing as well.
You got it, man. You'll be the first one I call.
Okay, will do. It's great again talking to you as well. And we'll talk to you when you get down here.
All right, sounds good, man. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
You can check us out on social media at SWIV, at SWIV on Twitter, and Somewhere in Vegas on Facebook. You can also check us out on Instagram at SWIV Podcast. That's at SWIV Podcast. Make sure you guys subscribe and like on all of your podcast catchers as well. We're also available on the iHeartRadio app as well as on Alexa. All you have to do is ask Alexa to play Somewhere in Vegas. We'll see you guys the next time here on Somewhere in Vegas.